Happy Columbus Day, everybody. Happy Columbus Day. It's a federal holiday here in the United States. I still have to go to work, but, you know, when you work for a living, that's what you do. If you live in the projects and you've been on the government teat for 40 years, you get the day off, so enjoy yourself. Anyway, let's listen to what Camala Harris has to say about Columbus Day, shall we?
It is an honor, of course, to be with you this week as we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, as we speak truth.
Oh, hang on, yeah, sorry, I forgot. It's Indigenous Peoples Day. No, that's an old-fashioned name, Columbus Day. Obviously, we want to rename it Indigenous Peoples Day because it was much better. America was much better before people had, medical science and steam engines. It was way better when it was full of disparate warring tribes, constantly murdering each other and shagging the cousins and the trees as well. Much better. Yeah, carry on, Miss Harris.
Our nation's history. Since 1934, every October, the United States has recognized the voyage of the European explorers who first landed on the shores of the Americas.
God bless them. Marvellous people, civilising a savage world. So look at what happened in Australia. Captain James Cook, a hero that hails from the north of England. And now it's one of the most civilised nations on earth. When they turned up, it was full of an Aboriginal people that still hadn't invented the wheel. Right? Not only would they not have Nintendo Game Boys and nuclear power plants in Australia if it wasn't for Captain James Cook, they wouldn't have running water, electricity, or pot noodles. So we did him a massive solid there as well. You're welcome, lads. You're welcome.
But that is not the whole story.
Oh, hang on. Here she is. She's going to piss on all of our chips. It's not the whole story. Come on then, footface. Tell me the rest of it.
Has never been the whole story. Those explorers ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations, perpetrating violence, stealing land, and spreading disease.
Like we're all dirty. Those dirty Europeans. Warfare. Read a book. Kamala, read a book. If you've ever read any history books and you're aware of what went on with the Native American people, it was constant warfare. Constant warfare. I read a series of amazing books by Louis L'Amour, and he details exactly what went on when the first colonials arrived over here. And basically, they were always at war with each other. The Spanish and the English settlers would befriend certain tribes, and the tribes would make friends with them because they would help them fight the other tribes. So they weren't all daisy-chaining round the wigwams. They were butchering each other because humans are very aggressive, and that's what we do. To try and lay the blame for warfare at the door of the white man is historically illiterate and brain dead, right? So we can just get rid of that, can't we? Every single society that's ever existed, there is warfare. That's what humans do. They kill each other. Doesn't matter whether you're talking about Songhai and Askia in Africa, feudal Japan, the massive civil wars all across China before it was unified. Humans kill each other. We haven't got a chip on our shoulder about it. We don't say, oh my God, the Vikings and the Romans, they came over and killed the happy Celtic people. We don't, because we just know warfare is a human trait. And thankfully in these civilized times, we've managed to localize it. And most people don't spend all day killing each other. But the idea that the concept was invented by Christopher Columbus, it's not just historically illiterate, it's illogical. Like if you'd never read a history book, you wouldn't even come to that conclusion. She's just got a head full of horse shit and a face like a plasterer's radio.
We must not shy away from this shameful past, and we must shed light on it and do everything we can to address the impact of the past on Native communities today.
That is unbelievable. Talking about a shameful past. I bet you when Tim Waltz woke up this morning and saw this video doing the rounds on YouTube, he was like, geez, what have I signed up for? What have I signed up for? The woman running for president of the United States genuinely hates the United States. She hates the past. She hates the culture. She hates all of the institutions that make the nation what it is. She hates this country. That speech is dripping with hatred. It's commie propaganda total gibberish, fictional history spewed by radical socialist activists. And she's parroting it because she's got the IQ of a chicken McNugget. So brilliant, that. And one last point I want to make about Columbus Day before I sign off. I'll just read you the tweet I posted when I found this video. Contradictory and hypocritical as always, the left cry about colonialism and indigenous rights, but love it when a million third world men move in, live off benefits, industrially surprise sex a few thousand kids, and occasionally blow the public transport networks up. Yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it, Madam President. It's mental, isn't it? It's mental. It's completely contradictory. Completely contradictory. How do you constantly believe, if you walk, two mutually opposing arguments every single time? You can't take two positions on everything. It's impossible. Some arguments are diametrically opposed to each other and you have to pick a side. You know, normal humans understand this. You can't be pro-abortion and anti-abortion at the same time. It's impossible. These believe in nothing, say anything, blow with the wind, scumbag politicians think they can be on both sides of every argument. They do it all the time. Joe Biden's one of the worst for it. If he's in a room full of Jewish people, he's like, oh yeah, love you guys, love Israel, love all that. As soon as he's in a room full of lads who follow the other Bronze Age theology, he's like, oh yeah, can't stand them boys over there, can't stand them. Yeah, love Palestine, me can't. I was raised in the Palestinian church. Right, that's the type of shit he comes out with because he doesn't know anything, because he's thick as whale spunk. So he does it all the time. But this is another example. Diametrically opposed. You can't be pro two sides of everything. You just can't. And you don't get to spew nonsense like this and claim that you love America, right? And you can't spew nonsense about indigenous rights and the evils of colonialism while promoting colonialism and stripping the indigenous people of their rights, okay? This is the cherry on top. What do you think people like Camala Harris are promoting now? Well, I'll show you. I just saw a protest in Ireland. Have a look at this. This was from Wesley Winter's YouTube channel, Ireland Rising, Why Ireland Won't Be Silenced.
It's all for everybody else and not the Irish.
Irish lies matter! Irish lies matter!
Ireland has been invaded.
They're not working for the Irish people, they're working for the EU.
There you go. They're not working for the Irish people. They're working for the EU. Or as the gentleman at the very beginning says, it's all for everybody else and not the Irish. So you need to make your mind up, hypocritical walkers. You need to make your mind up, lads. Very simple proposition for you. Pick a side. Pick a side. Logic demands it. Pro-abortion, anti-abortion. Pro-gun control, anti-gun control. It's time to pick a side. Are you pro-colonialism and stomping on the indigenous people's rights, which is now aggressively taking place to the Irish, the Scottish, the Welsh, the English, the Scandies, the Germans, the French? Their rights are being stomped on. They're importing millions of fighting-age men, tens of thousands of which diddle a few kids when they get there, and some of them hiss a little bit. You know, you just hear a gentle hissing sound when they're walking into a stadium or a pop concert or a bus or a train, and then occasionally they explode and the pockets are full of ball bearings and rat poison, and everybody who leaves the train goes home with a severe limp, and a few dozen of them get buried. So that's what's happening across Western Europe and North America now, thanks to Joe Biden and Camala Harris's insane policies. So I'm just putting this out there. I think you need to pick a side. Are you pro-colonialism or are you anti-colonialism? And might I suggest, if you're anti-colonialism in 2024 and you want to support Indigenous people's rights, maybe you should start thinking about looking after the Indigenous peoples of places like England and Ireland and Scotland, and stop allowing millions of unvetted, hairy-arsed men to move in, plunder the resources, in this case via the medium of Charmin Ultra council houses and Super King cigarettes, which I have to pay for, and shoring up the border, all right? Just if you don't want to be a staggering, mind-melting hypocrite, all right? That's me for the day, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know in the comments if you disagree, and there is absolutely no hypocrisy on display here. As long as you can jam 50,000 square pegs through round holes, Kamala's position and that of all the woke is perfectly logical and reasonable. Okay? As I said, I've got to go to work, so I'll see you all later. Have a good one. Toodle pip. Cheers.